Hello everyone, this is Boricua Banks and welcome back to Let's Play Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. I am once again joined by my friend Pharaoh, say hello.
Hello there, everybody.
And we are continuing on in the first trial. In the last episode, we were pretty much gonna point the finger at Christoph Gavin, our own boss. That was a little awkward.
Right.
But we want to believe Phoenix, although some of what he's saying is kind of shifty still. Like he's saying there's a card in a bottle, but when we looked, there wasn't a card in the bottle. So, not too sure.
But it's our job to figure out the fudge is going on because got some noodle scratching going on here. That's stupid. I don't even know how I even said that.
Noodle scratching.
I don't know.
I think I understand where you're going with that. All right.
No, honestly, I it's nothing bad. Honestly, no. Now I'm thinking about something bad. Great. What you did? I'm blaming this on
What? Fine. Blame me. I accept all the blame.
Oh Lord. Okay.
All right, so let's continue on.
All right.
So, after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club.
Most certainly.
Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china pate?
Oh, that's right. Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light.
Ooh.
Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, hasn't it? Phoenix Wright.
Ooh.
Order! I will have order! Mr. Payne! Yes, Your Honor! I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear defense attorney Gavin's testimony? Well, as the prosecutor, Very well, we'll break for 10 minutes. After which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination.
Well, dang it. That would have been a perfect stopping point last episode, but oh well.
Nah. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess for the day.
Let's go play.
Go kickball!
God, I used to hate okay, so during gym class in particular when we would play dodgeball, it was so bad. Like all the boys would always aim at my butt because I was developing. I was like one of the first girls to develop in the class, and they were like, "Oh, it's fun to aim over there." And I was like, "Oh my God, I can't dodge that area, okay?"
Gotta... Never mind.
I think Pharaoh's like, "Let me dodge out of this minefield already."
Right? It's like, nothing I say is gonna be good.
Okay. April 20th, 2:32 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. They're in trouble. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? Oh?
That might be
I think so. May I? Ah. Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. What's all this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? Ah, the name of the case.
Mmm.
The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. Oh, an ace. Where do I remember that card from? Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. It is true, I've seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this blotch of red. Is this blood? You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. Your father, huh? She looks familiar. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently, but where? Dude, come on, that was only a few hours
Right,
ago.
it's like, I don't know.
Jeez. That's when I made the connection. Took me a while, but I eventually got there. Hey.
And here we are. Oh, look, Kristoff is not next to Gavin, not next to Apollo anymore.
Aw. Our sensei, our mentor.
Oh, no.
April. Oh, I love how you said that. You said it like very Minnesotan.
Oh, no, don't you know?
We never have a chance to do those kind of accents because we don't have any characters that make sense to have that accent, do we?
For the time being, but maybe, you know, never know what happens if there's characters coming up that we may just mess around with.
True that. April 20th, 2:45 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Do you want me to do the judge?
Sure, you can go ahead.
Okay. Court will now reconvene. Defense attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, will the witness state his name and occupation? Is this farce necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Frickin' parrots and all that.
It only gets worse.
Yep.
Fine, I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald.
Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Oh! What the?
I don't think that's legal, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, the music!
Yes.
Yay!
I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Wright, I love your music.
Oh, thanks. What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second here. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for that one time.
That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, the you would have had to be at the scene of the crime, at the time of the crime.
In other words, you have to be the real killer. Is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo.
That looks cool. Mr. Gavin, why are you doing an evil laugh?
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well. Allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night.
Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night?
I never heard the judge say finally.
Jeez, I'm glad to be here already. Alright. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald-head, non-conscious girl, and Wright, holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that that was not the best place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when a call came from Wright. So, you witnessed the murder! For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed.
Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client.
What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window.
Mr. Wright?
You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Haha, window, get it. Right, Apollo?
Nice one.
Oh! Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant.
Screw you, Judge.
I'm still letting you stand there, apparently.
Right, it's like, don't do the job, but you can stand, that's fine.
Mr. Justice, are you prepared?
Yes, Your Honor. Can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Alright.
Let's make it weirder.
You sensed rage? Okay. Huh. I don't remember.
Very anime.
Yeah. Only in anime can you sense people's emotions very clearly and easily.
Because it's an actual physical freaking thing, aura, in all anime.
Mm-hmm. He's dead. Wait, Wright holding a bottle in his hand?
Is there something wrong with that statement?
I don't think there's anything we can present just yet, though.
Okay.
I kind of want to press the first statement, though. The rage one.
The rage? Alright.
Yeah. Alright, let's press.
That man, you mean Mr. Smith?
He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. So then, you knew the true nature of your client's job? Of course. But I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal.
Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends after all.
Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I fear this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score.
I see. What happened then?
Oh, he didn't go where I thought he would go. Okay. So I think we have to press on the bald head statement.
Sure.
Those were the only 3 at the scene of the crime.
Yes, as far as I saw at least. Then we're back where we started. The killer is a defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could have been? Why didn't you talk to the police? 2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't have abandoned my friend.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Yeah,
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime.
Justice. I just said I saw no one. Not a soul.
But that goes against what Mr. Wright said.
Ah, yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cause in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary?
How can I show something I can't find myself?
Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace.
The 5th ace. Right.
The one that conveniently fell in our laps, but okay.
Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason?
I think we can, you guys.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it.
It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace?
Why indeed?
Maybe this spotch of blood. Brazilian.
My reason is, this.
Not much conviction, but okay.
Right. Is that an ace? Attorney?
Nice one.
Why, it's got blood on it. Right next to the spade.
What? Ooh.
Look at that face twitching.
The sprites. This is when you know things are going. This is insane! Why wasn't it I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing 5th ace?
Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card?
Oh?
Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl,
Which you presented anyway.
Right? Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bolt Club the night after murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade, after all. No! Impossible! Unacceptable! The court can't accept this into evidence. It's a fraud!
Oh?
A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real car from the crime scene. The real killer! Ugh. me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime.
Where are you going with this, and why aren't you letting poor Apollo do his job?
Shut up, Judge. It's my time to shine. Take another look at this photograph, and at the victim's head.
And then Apollo's like, but wait, you were mad at me earlier.
It's okay when I do it, but no one else. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down to the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards?
I suppose.
The killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right? Regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see. Objection! This is baseless conjecture. Baseless! Objection! There we go.
Nice.
Oh, I assure you it's quite based. Asshole. What? It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo?
Well, thanks for stealing my thunder, but yes.
Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head.
Ah, good old 3D.
It's the right thing, it took shrooms! Alright, just let it play out, man. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And, before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position is this diagram doesn't fit. The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card?
Okay. This is the fun part of this case.
I forgot all about this, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it's a little grindy, but we'll get through it. Okay, so in this one you have to really kind of think outside the box, not Bach. And we're gonna say the victim's position doesn't fit, because if his head had blood on it, it wouldn't land on the cards. Yeah, present.
Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You'd think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him. Oh! Take a look at the photo again.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
If he bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards. Why, that's right. So, what does this mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs, because we're fancy like that.
Swivel chairs? Oh man.
Apollo, try turning the chair around.
And we have to physically turn it. Yay!
Oh, wow.
The chair was facing the other way. It would have to be. So, we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing?
When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo.
That would mean the killer turned the chair back around.
Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reasoning skills, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims? The killers? The witnesses? The second witnesses? Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim was facing away?
Well, obviously, it would be the killer. Because how could they kill him in the forehead? Present.
The victim was struck from the front, correct?
Indeed.
Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is.
I would think it'd be quite hard, yes. Yes, what you're saying makes no sense! Why would a victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game? I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram.
God.
Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking on the diagram.
What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be.
Don't worry. Let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Now try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front?
Alright. Let's put it on the big black thing in front of him. Just shelf or whatever.
You did that on purpose. Nuh-uh. You did that on purpose, like straight up.
Maybe. Alright, present on the black thing. Woo!
The killer had to be standing, well, here.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
I thought I was onto something there, too.
I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or you claim the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above, huh? It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place a killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime...
Wait, I know. At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there.
Dun dun dun!
Or...
What's this now?
I mean, that's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in a hideout immediately.
Point.
Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard.
Your Honor?
What?
There's one more thing you're meant to look for. Please give this to the bailiff.
Oh, you should at least tell Apollo what you're up to.
Right.
Yes, I see. Oh, a love note. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love you too, Phoenix.
All along, Phoenix was cheating on Edgeworth with the judge. Oh my God.
Terrible love triangle going on.
Oh gosh, so bad. It would be so bad.
You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
Damn straight. I do my best.
All right. Well, his best will have to wait for the next episode because I think we've had enough of that good old diagram for a while. Fun. But yeah,
For sure.
thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. And until next time, have a nice day.
See you later, everybody.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And also make sure to ring the bell for notifications for new episodes. You can follow me on Twitch, where I stream every week, and also follow me on Twitter for updates. Until next time, have a nice day. Adios!